Vision India Forum welcomes the Rishi of violin of today's age. If I may say so, today's age, because this man in our screen today, on our screen today, Pandit Kumaresh Rajagopalan ji, he is no more somebody who is a prodigy. He is no more somebody who is of the age. He's been doing this for the last 50 years. 55-year-old man, since 5 years of age, a maestro, a Maharishi, as encomiums have followed suit his performances over decades. He has fan following and followers, and the names includes Ilayaraja, M.G. Ramachandran, A.R. Rahman. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, you go to the net and you find out this gentleman's profile, and you would be mesmerized to see people who've made a mark on history, left their mark on history. They, for example, Mr. Rahman, when asked was, why do you go back to Chennai and why do you live in Chennai? He said, the reason I come back to Chennai and I like to stay here is because the brother duo of Ganesh and Kumaresh live in Chennai. So, I mean, what more compliments do you want for a musician, a violin maestro? India's classical music should be indebted to such great personalities like Mr. Rajagopalan and Mr. Kumaresh Rajagopalan, because without their immaculate contribution through decades, uh, a centuries old tradition, age-old traditions of India's classical music, as old, as vivacious, as important, significant, and as powerful as the yoga and Ayurveda, would be left completely uncatered to and would get diluted in this technology revolution. Mr. Kumaresh, Pandit Kumaresh ji, the Brahma Rishi, the Maharishi of violin of Indian classical music, I request you to kindly take us through your journey. And that would be a source of huge inspiration for the young kids who would like to take up music going forward, so that by 2047, we are not in dearth of such torchbearers of India's culture and tradition. Kumaresh Rajagopalan, also take us through, your journey as a musician who's performed globally, along with his very talented, hugely successful, very well-known better half, Mrs. Jayanti Rajagopalan. Now, my request to Mr. Kumaresh Rajagopalan would also be that also take us through what are the expectations that you have from the government of India as well going forward, so that this wonderful thing called India's classical music, grows from strength to strength, and it adds glory to the nation, because wow, now we should be going all no holds barred and all, guns, all, kind of guns roaring when we have to charge towards global stardom in the year 2047, which is going to be the 100th year of India's independence. Over to you, Pandit Rishi Kumaresh Rajagopalan ji.
Namaste, Gurubhyo Namaha. I don't know whether I am enlightened enough to be called as a Maharishi or a Rishi. I'm just a student of music. Music has been a great companion through this beautiful journey of unraveling the art form and at the same time unraveling within myself. At the beginning, my father, see, Guru, it's a beautiful word. As the Mahaperi of Kanchi, the way he has explained that word, Guru is a combination of two words, Guna and Rupa. We understand everything in this planet through the Rupa and the Guna. So, for example, when you say mother, the first thing that comes is a visual form of the mother and then her character. Similarly, father. If I say violin, first what comes to me is the image of the violin and then the character of the violin. If you say a phone, whatever phones we use, the image of the phone comes to our mind and then the character of the phone. So similarly, whatever we are pursuing, the subject, the art form, the person who gives you the idea of the guna and rupa of that subject is called guru. Divine is beyond guna and rupa, and the guide who gives you the path to understand the divine within and outside is also called the spiritual guru. I am very fortunate that I have a father, I have a brother who have guided me, who have mentored me into what I am today. I started playing when I was 3.5. That was the first time when I touched my violin, and I was supposed to have played a very difficult phrase on the violin, which other students were finding it difficult to play. I don't remember it, but this is what I recall. My parents tell me, my brother tells me, so that is how I'm supposed to have played the violin at the beginning. And my first concert was at the age of 5 at the Asia Pavilion, 72 Pavilion in Prakriti Maidan, New Delhi. Since then, I have had this great fortune of interacting with great musicians of the past, playing along with such legendary musicians who have encouraged us, given us inputs through the interaction of what the art form is, how do you approach the art form, what is being a musician, what is the lifestyle of a musician, how do you keep your eyes and ears open to understand various dynamics, how life can inspire you, and how you can inspire yourself. And in the process of refining music, you refine yourself. We have this beautiful concept of Nada Upasana, Nada Yoga, and Nada Brahma. What I have understood in this 50 years of musical journey is that the source of music is silence. And music is the visual and oral reflection of silence. When we say visual, it is the songs and bhajans, all that we learn, that we study, which we call as entertainment and education. And then as you unravel that, you understand that Nada Upasana is practice of music. The more you dwell on that, what happens is you understand that there is much more to music than what you just practice. There is a beautiful platform that is there for you to unravel, and you sink into that, which we call as Nada Yoga, where you dissolve yourself into that sound of that music, and you are in that state of joy and bliss most of the time. And then the ultimate, where you become one. We are all in the quest of getting there. But what I have seen in Indian music, we say classical, a borrowed term from the West. Ours is a lot more profound. Ours is a grammatical art form, which we call Shastriya Sangeet. It is confined to grammar of raga and thala. So when you say classical, it becomes period. You confine our music to a period. Our music is not a period music. It is continuous music. Our music is as new as tomorrow and as old as before the Vedas. The art of Gamaka has been there for centuries, for millennia, that's what I should say, because the first quote or the first time, the oldest mention of the word Gamaka is in Saundarya Lahari, which was 2500 years ago. Adi Shankaraji in his Saundarya Lahari quotes this. Gale Reka Tishro Gati Gamaka Geetaika Nipune. Meaning we had an art form, we had music, which is Gamaka oriented, and which was prevalent 2500 years ago. So we come from such a rich tradition, such a rich library of sound, compositions, of ragas, of talas, of many, many impressions, interpretations, all available for us through our oral tradition. So what we have is something which is fantastic, which is you can say uh, unparalleled. So it is more appropriate to call it Shastriya Sangeet than classical music. Yeah, we have borrowed that term from the West, but I think we should slowly start calling our music as Shastriya Sangeet, because Shastriya means grammar. We stick to grammar of raga and thala. So what it does to you, the discipline of understanding raga and thala. See, we can connect this to discipline and freedom, wherein raga is the freedom and thala is the discipline. Freedom without discipline is disastrous. So when you have freedom with discipline, what happens is that discipline enhances your understanding of the subject. This is good for any walks of life, not only music, not only dance, not only art, but for any walks of life. If you have freedom with discipline, what you can achieve is phenomenal, because there'll be structure to what you do. There'll be a structure to your thought process. There'll be a structure to your expressions. So all that is very important to understand. So when you learn music, discipline and freedom is a fantastic concept that you get. And then you understand that when you bow down to music, when you surrender to music, that is where the true art is, because that surrender from within helps you connect to the divine. And what comes out is the divine using you as an instrument to express its thought through you. And then what you understand is that it is the respect that you give to your elders, the respect that you give to your the great Mahapandits or Mahavidvans of the elder years, what you learn from them, what you understand from what they have given to us, because they have helped in sustaining and evolving this art form in each generation. The beauty of our art form is that it has a generational impact. It has changed itself to the social and economical changes of the generation, and that it has given us that reflection at every given point. So that is the beauty of our musical tradition. That is beauty of each great giant Vidwans who has given us that musical expression. I have had the great fortune of listening to some of the greatest Nadaswaram players. Nadaswaram was the torchbearer of music. I would say music as a performance before the advent of mics. See, music was prevalent for the masses in temples, in in festival times. So those days we didn't have mics. We had only chamber music for intellectual experiences for rajas and nobles and lords of those times. But for the public, you had Nadaswaram as the mainstay instrument, because the sound that it could create, it could easily please reach in thousands of years. I mean, years means years. Nadaswaram and Tamil were such beautiful expression for music. I have had the fortune of listening to greats like Rajaratnam Pillaiji, Kare Kurichiji, Veeraswamy Pillaiji, Kotur Rajaratnam, Sheikh Chinna Maulanaji, Ramagiri Pete Krishnanji. Amazing Avsaram Vidwans, along with great Tamil artists like Haridwar Mangalam Painivelji, Valangi Manji, Chanmugandra Pillaiji, and great violinists like M.S.G. sir, Lalgudi sir, T.N. Krishnan sir, Chandrasekhar ji, VVS sir, Kanyakumari ji, Rukmini Amma, and great. We have the privilege of sharing stage with Umiyalpuram ji, Palakkad Raghu sir, T.K. Murthy sir, Vinayak Ramji, Zakir Bhai, Anindoji, so many great musicians I have had the privilege and honor to share stage with. So each of the experience, like it is like learning, each is a PhD experience. What you learn from them, the way they are, the way they approach music, the way they encourage you to be what you are, the way they make you feel free spirited, the information that you gather by having interactions with them, their thought process of music. Each of them have a different take on music. Somebody is very conventional, very conservative. Somebody is very open, very free spirited. You take in all, and you can see that there is so much that you can identify through music, your own character through music, which comes out. And the art form gives you the freedom to express yourself. So this has been a phenomenal journey, and I'm so thankful to first the art form, my 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 parents for being so patient with me, all the my co-artists, the organizers, the audience. It has been a phenomenal journey. So I'm still feeling so fresh and young that I'm ready for another 50. That's the way it is. And the journey with my brother, Ganesh. If you call me a Rishi, you can call him he is actually the Brahma Rishi of violin. He's a phenomenal artist. Oh my God. It's been a great source of privilege and honor to have been playing with him for 50 years. Amazing, amazing, amazing artist. So I'm so thankful to him also to have been my partner in this journey. So it's been fantastic.
How do you know, try and explain to the common man or the young generation the concept of raga and tal, please?
Ah, beautiful. See, raga and thala is unique to our music. First, ragam you should understand is, though it is a scale, raga means color. So we have been given the 7 swaras and 12 positions, and the great rishis of yore have, see the beauty, both music, both melody and rhythm, you cannot see. You cannot see them, you can only experience them or feel them. See what they have done, they have used an invisible concept and given a grammar to that, codified it into so many scales, which we call as raga. And in that scale, they have given you phrases and identified sounds that how each scale becomes a raga. Because a scale is just plain swara. But when you call it a raga is when you start emoting through that raga. The emotion happens through gamaka. So what is one prescribed gamaka for a raga? How do you understand that gamaka within yourself? So first you study, you become a tape recorder, you just study that sound as a sound, and then you internalize that sound and bring it out as an expression. It is like learning a language. The 7 swaras are the alphabets of musical language, and the more you learn, the more you understand, you start making poetry out of that language. The poetry is the gamaka. Gamaka is the poetry of music. So that is how you understand a raga. And thala is the one which binds the melody into a composition or into a discipline wherein you can sway to the lines of the raga. For example, take a bhajan, Thumak Chalat Ramachandra. The melody, if there is no thala, I just sing Tumak Chalat Ramachandra. I can sing like that without any discipline. But when I put it into rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र, ठुमक चलत रामचंद्र. So what happens? It brings the composition into a structure. So when you tap your leg or when your body sways, that happens because of the rhythm. When your heart melts, that because of the ragam, that is because of the ragam. A ragam and thalam are the base in which the entire edifice of our music is built.
What is
And
the raga in that Tumak Chalat? Can you explain that? What is this raga part of
so,
the?
so see, bhajans, when they take a bhajan, they take a basic structure of a raga and then they use accidental notes and bring it a different shape. Oh, for example, if you ask me in Carnatic, sa sa za ni sa ri ni ri sa ni da pa da sa sa da sa ri ga ri da ri ga ma ri ga ri ni sa ri ni ri da ni pa da. That is how it is. It is kind of and a reflection of Pahad and taken into, we bring a lot of other incidental notes to bring out a beautiful emotion in that bhajan. Okay, so we understand the sound of the bhajan as swara, as an alphabet. So tumak chalat Ramchandra, that is the lyrics that you have. But when I listen to it, it is sa 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 ni sa ri ni ri sa ni da ni pa da. That is how I listen to it. So that is the oral layer of the lyrical word Tumak Chandra Ramachandra, Tumak Chalat Ramachandra. So that is how we understand music. I
So
sing a
that
song.
so that's a raga.
Yeah, the raga is the melody. For example, I will sing one.
And the melody has the swaras and the words and the emotion.
No, no, melody is the raga. For example, I take a song
Okay, now the question is,
in
what is melody for? I mean, how do you define melody?
see a melody when you look at it from a shastriya concept, it has to be a raga, right? When it look at from a bhajan aspect, when you look at it as a bhajan, the what happens is the lyrical content, the composer of the melody takes some leverage, which we call as creative liberty, and brings out some incidental swaras also, so that the bhajan also has a it is what do you say? It is not restrictive in terms of only one particular kind of audience. Everybody can enjoy. I'll sing a Tamil song. Va Muruga va Vadivaraga Muruga va. This is a Tamil song in ragam called Begada. Gama Tapasani sa Pari ni dava ni dava madapa mageri sa. Just like that. It is in the raga called Begada. Va Muruga va Vadivaraga Muruga va. This is in the very, very strict Carnatic style based on the raga and tada. Now, I want to make it in a sense in which everybody can enjoy this. In the sense, not only the traditional connoisseur of music, but anybody, a layman, should also enjoy this song. So what I do, I take the raga scale of Begada and see if I can explore it and add a few more swaras to make it more digestible to a larger audience, which we call as, I will not define class and mass. I will say we had Deshi and Marga. Marga music, Deshi music we used to have earlier. It is just that some people are able to enjoy music which is less restrictive, less structurized. So, va muruga va va Murugava, Padivaraga, Shalmugava, Murugava. Should do something like that. People are able to enjoy it more. So it is the way you present. When you are playing a Shastriya Sangeeta music concert separately in the grammatical form, we bring in all the gamaks, we bring in all those, what do you say, the aesthetics, dynamics of how it should be played in a classical structure. But the same raga can be given in a very different form, adding a few notes here and there, and make it more attractive to a larger audience. But I would prefer that every Indian should be given a taste of the Shastriya Sangeet. They should know what is a raga. They should know what is a tala. Because if we have 140 crore people living in India, each of them should know that we have two great musical systems called Carnatic and Hindustani. And they should be a part of that. And we should make a lot of efforts in making sure that at least in schools, it comes as a curriculum so the students are engaged, students are empowered to enjoy this art form and understand what is music, Indian music, which is very important. That the government has to do.
I think this is absolutely important what you just now been explaining to us, because I mean, none of us common people have an understanding of what a raga is, what a tal is, how they are connected, how it's a discipline within which the ragas have to be, it's the freedom, and the tala is the structure and the discipline.
Yeah.
So these things have to be understood in every sphere of life. So how do you think what do you think is the
It is
difference?
like this, bro. It is like this. See, all plants don't flower. All trees don't give fruit. Likewise, everybody cannot become a musician, but all of us can enjoy the fragrance of a flower. All of us can enjoy the taste of the fruit. So similarly, all of us should be able to enjoy the experience of Indian music. It is definitely possible. It should be done. We have to do it in a war footing. Um, we have great musicians who can give us the curriculum for students to enjoy music. I really sincerely wish that the government takes steps and makes it part of our education system so that every school has a music department wherein students can choose what they want to learn, and they should be able to guide the students into understanding and appreciating music. It's very important.
I mean, lot of places, the culture, like for example, in states like Bengal, it's a traditional culture. It used to be once upon a time wherein every house, sometime or the other part of the day, you could hear the harmonium being played, some practice of the music going on. Same used to be the case in Tamil Nadu, states of South to some extent. But Bengal, definitely, I remember growing up in Calcutta. So, I mean, these things are basically part of the social fabric. What do you think,
Correct.
Kumaresh? What do you think, Kumaresh, is the difference between the Western music and the Indian music? Especially, I personally find the Western music as very cacophonous, something which never attracts me. I find melody missing from the Western music completely. There are some instances wherein there is melody, but I mean, generally, I'm not attracted to Western music. And when the Prime Minister was asked, he when he came to the prime minister's seat, Mr. Narendra Modi had suggested, when he was asked a question, he had secondly stated that Western music, the Paschatya Sangeet, yani ki Western music basically makes your body move, whereas the Eastern or our own music makes our soul move. That is the difference that he suggested. Do you agree to that? And would you like to add to that?
See, I will not say there is no melody in Western music, but before that, uh, we have to have, we have to understand that we need to have pride in what we have, what is ours. What is ours? Unfortunately, see, in our films, for example, take Bollywood, take Bombay, or take Andhra Pradesh, or Tamil Nadu, or I don't know about Marathi and Bengali movies. What happens is it has become a fashion to ridicule our art form, ridicule our Shastriya Sangeet. It's a fashion. They do it. When youngsters see that, they think that, oh, maybe it is not cool. So that is why people ridicule it, which is very bad. Our own people should not run down our own art form without understanding what it is. So that is very important. So, and also the print and visual media, what they do, if you have somebody coming from the West, or a rock band coming in, I'm not complaining, I'm just telling you what is the Vatavaran. So they give them space, they give them, have a talk show with them. They are coming out with an album or India tour. They do big promotion for that. But when our music festival is happening, there's hardly any mention in the visual print media in a big way. Earlier, it used to happen in Hindu paper. You had one second page or a third page was completely for art and culture. It used to be very, very, they were a great promoter of Carnatic music in the Hindu paper. But now it is very different. So, only when we take pride, only when we position ourselves, only when you have value for what is ours, will there be a sustained effort and growth in that art form. Western music, there's a lot of melody. There is a lot of melody in Western music. If you listen to Western classical music of Beethoven, Mozart, Bach, or when you listen to Paganini's violin composition, it's fantastic. That is very different. But in every school, they teach music, classical music in the West, piano, guitar, saxophone, something is taught. But in our school, they don't teach. There is, unless the family wants the child to understand, learn an art form, this is not taught. And also in our culture, what happened maybe in the 50s and 60s was that people did not want their children to take up music as a profession. They thought it was not sustainable, and they wanted security for the children. So education was paramount. They wanted the children to become an engineer or a doctor so that their life is settled. They could move forward in their life. So becoming a musician was not a very impressive thing for that generation. But now it is slowly changing. There is a turn, there is a change, but it will be much, much more welcome if the government comes in and takes over and makes a push towards putting it as a curriculum. We are all there. We can give curriculum for violin, curriculum for veena, curriculum for bansuri. Everything can be done. If we have a system in place, then I'm sure our art will flourish. It is flourishing. I'm not complaining. It is. We are doing very well. We will do much better. We will do much better. And I'm in Birmingham. There is a great response for Indian music in the West. Thanks to Ravi Shankarji. There's a great response to our music, both South Indian and North Indian. So world recognizes our music. We have to recognize it ourselves more than what it is. It is now, there's only those private bodies who are sustaining the art form, who are encouraging. We get few company sponsors who are regularly sponsoring events, but I think the government should step in and do lots more.
I think, I will soon add another after listening to, because this is a long conversation, and things which you have inculcated through years of sadhana, kind of penance, kind of meditation. tapas, that is what you've been doing for decades. Obviously, a 30 minutes interactive monologue kind of a session with you online would never be able to even touch upon it. But yes, it's an eye opener for not only us, but the purpose of this entire journey is exactly what you have been speaking. The purpose of this journey that we've been, that we've undertaken with some good friends is to get people like you, the real people, the real superstars of their fields, to speak, the real substance and something which generally people do not find attractive because it's not the easy way out. You have to struggle. You have to really work hard towards it, and that
It's
is
not struggle. You have to, no, it is not struggle. You have to work hard.
yes. It's
Struggle
a,
is a more a negative term. You have to work hard. See, you asked me about the journey with of Jayanti Kumaresh, my wife, when I play with her. So, why I'm saying this, why I'm trying to
because you
introduce
believe in
this
it.
is because, yeah, see, there are two musicians come together. The beauty is to find a common place to perform. See, music is such a beautiful art form in the sense it gives diversity. Each person has the freedom to express his thought process through music. It is not unidimensional, it is multidimensional. Voice brings out a kind of aura. Instrument brings out a different aura. Within that, each instrument has a different sound, different space to perform. And Jayanti ji is being such a phenomenal Veena player. The Veena is an instrument which has short syllables. Violin is an instrument which has got long syllables. So when we both get together, we are able to complement that sound beautifully. So it has been a beautiful experience working with her to create new kind of sound through music which we call as strings attached. So it's been a fantastic performing with her. We are playing together next week in Manchester. A couple of concerts we are performing there. So that is a beautiful way to say how we can partner with a different instrument altogether and still find your space and express yourself, be yourself. So music expands you. When you collaborate, it expands your thought process, which is beautiful.
So you again, by this example, basically you are stamping on the fact that going forward, the generation, has to keep in mind that you have to complement as opposite sexes so that you do not follow what's happening. Otherwise, India soon will lose out on the demographic dividend, which we are yet to harness even fractionally. Marriages are institutions which we have built over time and over years and centuries. And this family system is again gets reflected. The value of the family system and the value of complementing each other gets also reflected through this language of music once again. And if we can take these examples forward, we did not look beyond these basic facts which have been dictated to us by nature, because ultimately it's nature which defines these basic human facts. And as long as there is a kind of an alignment of what you think, what you speak, and what you do, and music is one way through which you can obviously try and fine tune yourself to alignment of these three ways of thinking, speaking, and expressions of thinking, speaking, and acting. And music teaches you to align that whatever way, right or wrong. But remember one thing for sure, sir, that right and wrong can be subjective. The only thing which is objective is truth and lies, which nature has defined. And music teaches you to basically inculcate, accept, and then follow the truth and lie form of life, the natural way of life. As long as you are in sync with nature, life will, flower more, will flourish more. And music is a source of flourishing life, enriching humanity. That is what people like you are doing, Kumaresh Rajagopalan. Thank you so much. We will look forward to more interactions with people like you. Thank you, sir.
I had a wonderful time interacting with you. Thank you for having me. I wish the India Vision Summit all the very best and more and more and more and more
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
to come. Looking forward to our very special Amrit Kal 2047. Bharat Mata ki Jai.
Bharat Mata ki Jai. Thank you.